Let me introduce our speaker. Amy Leffringhouse is a natural resources, environment, and energy educator with University of Illinois Extension and associate faculty in conservation management at John Wood Community College. Now I'll turn it over to Amy.
Thank you, Eliana, and good evening to everyone out there tonight. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm so happy to be talking to you about outdoor water use during the summertime with you tonight. Like Terry said, this is the second webinar in a series of 4 water conservation webinars, and we are honored to partner with Illinois American Water and you in working to become better stewards of our water resources. Within the next 30 minutes, we will be exploring ways that you can become a better steward of your outdoor water use, which in turn will protect our water quality. But before we begin, I want to ask you this. How much of the water used outdoors is wasted? You will see several choices pop up on your screen. Please choose what you would consider would be the most appropriate answer. And I'll give you a few minutes. Looks like you guys are making some good guesses. Wonderful. Thank you so much for participating. A majority of you chose 50%, and those of you who chose 50% are correct. 50% of our water that we use outdoors is lost and wasted. And when I say outdoors or outdoor purposes, I mean watering your grass, watering your landscaping, watering your vegetable gardens, washing your cars, filling your swimming pool, cleaning your driveway, and a host of other things. But why do we lose water outdoors? Well, water is lost through evaporation, as we often irrigate when temperatures are high. In the same sense, we lose water to wind. So on windy days, spray from our sprinklers does not cover the areas in which we target. So any non-target water ends up being wasted water. And last, we lose water through inefficient irrigation or watering systems. So this can include leaking outdoor faucets, damaged hoses, and bad connections. And we also overwater our lawn when our plants are not thirsty or do not need water. So with that statistic in mind, let's dive in and explore how we can conserve and reduce the loss of our water resources. So tonight's focus is water use during the summer season. And it is very important for a number of reasons to focus on this time period of the year. So first, as a community and as a society, our water usage peaks in the summer months. Our usage can be 3 times higher in the summer than it is in the winter time. Second, in the US, our indoor water usage has actually been decreasing, but our outdoor water usage continues to remain high without any significant reduction over the last decade. Third, our high water usage in the summer runs simultaneously with the time of year when our river levels and our groundwater levels are low due to limited precipitation. These low groundwater levels can cause lower lake levels and sometimes even dry up our perennial streams. So this can have detrimental effects on our aquatic life and can also contribute to higher concentrations of pollutants in our water. And last, this high usage during the summer puts a strain on our drinking water systems as a whole. So these treatment systems and the infrastructure that goes along with it, it has to be built to meet our peak demand, which is in the summer. So this can be expensive for our communities to maintain and for those of us who pay our water bills. However, I do come with good news tonight. Our indoor water demand is actually decreasing. The Alliance for Water Efficiency has reported a drop in the U.S. average for annual indoor water use by 22% since 1999. So this is credited to low flow appliances in commercial construction. And also the US EPA, or the Environmental Protection Agency's Water Sense certification program. It certifies new construction and retrofitting of existing homes. Excuse me. In the graph in front of you, you can see the Illinois State Water Survey tracked the usage or the demand in the Chicago region from 2002 to 2013. And you can see that downward trend in the daily residential water demand. So 2002 started out at around 90 gallons per day per person. The US average is 82 gallons per person per day. And then in 2013 was down to 74.3 gallons per day per person. So as our indoor water use is approaching theoretical lows for human survival in our modern lifestyles, today's lifestyles, which is great news. So consequently, because of that, our search for additional residential conservation gains in the water world shifts to the outdoor sector. However, outdoor water use has its challenges and requires a different approach than our indoor water conservation due to a few reasons. So number one, obviously, outdoor water use is climate sensitive. So some areas receive ample precipitation in the United States, while other areas are much drier. And temperature and evapotranspiration, which includes evaporation from both soil surfaces and plant transpiration, they both affect water use and vary really greatly by location. So this makes it really difficult to implement a one-size-fits-all conservation practice for everyone. It's also hard to predict the future. It's difficult to measure too. So outdoor water use and indoor water use can't be separated without the installation of expensive monitoring devices. So it's difficult for us to measure indoor and outdoor water separately. And then it's also hard to predict. So our outdoor water use is very hard to predict the future because of climate fluctuations at both the regional and the local level. And last, our outdoor water use is linked to our values and our lifestyle choices. So this can be seen if we choose to have a recreational swimming pool, also our aesthetic appreciation for a green lawn. Our outdoor water use is connected to our personal identity and status. We have a real strong emotional connection to our landscape, and our cultural norms keep us in the habit of that high water use during the summer season. So with these challenges, let's look at what the current state of outdoor water use is in the United States. So 30% of our water use is outdoors, and most of us actually underestimate what our outdoor water usage is. And this 30% is an average. In some areas of the United States, it can be seen up to 60% of their usage. So here in Illinois, we are lucky to live in an area with ample rainfall. However, there are times when we have little precipitation or even drought, so some time periods with low rainfall. And currently, you probably know, we're facing a moderate drought classification in a little over half of our counties. This was the latest, actually July 18th drought report. And about 13% of our counties in Illinois are still in that severe drought stage. It's the most serious drought we've had since 2012. So these severe droughts can place additional stress on that water supply, affecting both quantity and quality of our water sources. Now, our outdoor water use actually exceeds both our showering and our washing clothes use added together, and that's mainly through irrigation or our watering practices of our lawn. And I found this third fact interesting. Our turf lawn acreage in the United States is actually 3 times larger than the acreage of our irrigated corn. And I found that just very intriguing, but also a great opportunity for savings. And we'll talk about that here in a little bit. And last, 20% of our US homes have automatic irrigation sprinkler systems, and that's a main source of our water loss. And the EPA states if an average sized lawn in the United States is watered for 20 minutes for 7 days or for a week, it is like running the shower constantly for 4 days or taking 800 showers. So that's 20 minutes for a week is equal to taking 800 showers. And those 800 showers are equal to a year's worth of showers for an entire family. So that's the impact that our water usage can have. So what can we do? There are some quick wins for you if you want to be a better steward of your water resources. First, check out your water bill. Look over your water bill, find out as much as you can about your consumption. So no matter the units that your water company measures, look for a section that shows usage trends. So these graphs can show month-to-month comparisons. They usually typically also show year-to-year comparisons. So you can determine if your seasonal use peaks in the summertime, just like the US statistics, or possibly if you have a leak that you need to repair. With this bill as well, you can set water usage conservation goals and use your bill to track how close you stay to your goals. So paying attention to your water bill is one of the kind of easiest steps to mark off your list. Second, watering only when needed. So in Illinois, our typical lawns need no more than 1 inch of rain per week. So keep an eye on a rain gauge before you turn on your sprinkler or program your sprinkler system. This may take a little bit more management, but can save you hundreds or even thousands of gallons of water during a season. Another rule of thumb, watering only during the period of 9 p.m. to 9 a.m. can minimize that evaporation during the heat of the day. So 9 p.m. to 9 a.m. Third, an easy update at your home could be the installation of a rain collection barrel at your downspout. The water can be collected and used in your gardens, for your landscaping beds, your trees. Illinois Extension has a plethora of resources on rain barrel installation on its rainfall management website. And I think the link should be in your chat box. Next, sweeping your outdoor surfaces. Rather than using a hose or a pressure washer, a lot of us use that, consider using a broom to remove that debris off your sidewalks and your driveways. Acceptance of a dirty car possibly, or acceptance of a brown lawn, especially during drought periods. For your cars, if you can try to avoid washing your car during drought periods, but if you need to, bucket and a sponge, don't let your hose run during the whole entire time, or possibly researching car washes near you that recycle water. And then your lawn, consider accepting a dormant non-green lawn, especially during a drought. A dormant lawn can survive on minimal water, but to maintain that lawn, that dormant lawn, a good thorough watering is only needed every 4 to 5 weeks. So that should keep your lawn going. So about once a month is all you would need to keep that dormant lawn going. And last, finding and repairing your outdoor leaks. So unlike a light bulb or other energy products, plumbing parts continue to work when they're malfunctioning, right? They continue to go, they just leak. Leaks can actually account for 10% of our total residential use. So to detect leaks outdoors, Illinois American Water has a resource for its customers. It has a water leak detection kit, and it can be accessed here by using your camera app on your phone and scanning the QR code, or with the link in the chat box. So this will link you directly to the guide where it can work you through a step-by-step process to find leaks. It emphasizes looking in areas where leaks can occur, like outdoor faucets, within your sprinkler systems, within your pool systems, and maybe at your service connection point. So check that out from Illinois American Water. So we've discussed some quick water wins. I want to now explore and talk a little bit about longer term sustainable changes. So label programs, the US EPA, or the Environmental Protection Agency, developed the Energy Star label that you can see on your left side of your screen in 1992, so over 30 years ago. It's widely recognized by homeowners and allows us as consumers to find energy efficient products and appliances. Now, in terms of water, the EPA developed a water sense label in 2006. So this labels products that are water efficient and save water, but it goes further than just the label. The program also recognizes new homes that are constructed using water sense fixtures, and also recognizes existing homes that are free of leaks and show that they have a 30% more water efficiency than a newly constructed home. They recognize those homes. The program also certifies landscape irrigation professionals who utilize water efficient practices. So if you do have a sprinkler system at home and want to hire a professional, check out the Water Sense program. There is a search for certified Water Sense irrigation professionals. So water savings really is also an energy savings. Every gallon of water that we use has an energy footprint. Energy is needed to pump, to move, to heat our water, and also to treat our water. So you're really getting two birds with one stone when we're conserving water. Second, and this is my favorite because you can be as creative as you'd like with this process, but creating a water conserving landscape. And water conserving landscapes reduce your areas in your yard that need a lot of water. They also help you to keep water on your property. So there are several principles here. These water conserving landscapes can help you minimize your water irrigation, still allows you to enjoy a beautiful yard, and also supports biodiversity and native pollinators with your plant choices. They can withstand periods of drought and also when water restrictions might be enforced. So these 7 principles here in front of you were developed in 1981 by Denver Water. They are the 7 principles of xeriscaping. And you may hear xeriscaping used interchangeably with water conserving landscapes, or you might hear the terms water-wise landscaping or the watershed approach to landscaping. Many of these terms, all of these terms have similar goals, and that is to responsibly manage our water resources. And they really take a bigger picture approach, an ecosystem approach to your landscape. So I could talk for hours about creating water conserving landscapes, but let me take you through some of the steps to get your creative mind working. So the first principle is making a plan. So just like any landscaping plan, walking through your yard and sketching out what are the existing features that you have in your yard. Take that time, walk around, check things out. Where do you have trees? Take note of where you have fences, high spots, sidewalks. What direction is your prevailing wind coming from? Do you have any microclimates? So places where it's warm, where it gets really hot, sunny, places where it's a lot wetter. And just take those notes and sketch it out on a piece of paper. It doesn't have to be fancy, it can be however fits you best. After you've noted what is existing, think about what you would like to see within those current features. What do you need to add or subtract? So when you're thinking about that, take some time again to watch the water in your yard. Take note at where the water flows on your property. So I watched my water in my yard just a couple weeks ago when we had a heavy rainfall, and it actually pooled in areas where I didn't realize. I had mulch moving around in my yard that I didn't realize. So when you see this water movement, sketch out and identify zones. So where is it really wet? Where is it really dry? And clumping plants together with those matching water needs will help you with your water conservation. Being shady. So what do I mean by being shady? Well, I want you to think of shade as a friend to water conservation. So installing or planting drought-tolerant trees in your yard can provide shade to cool down your summer temperatures in your yard, but also reduce the water needs for the plants that grow underneath those trees. And last, probably my favorite, choosing native plants in your yard. Native plants, native shrubs, native trees. Native plants by name are adapted to surviving and thriving within our climate and within our, rainfall patterns. Kentucky bluegrass, a very popular cool season typical grass in our lawns, have a root system of about 2 to 3 inches below the soil surface. Comparatively, our native plants have very deep root systems. So compass plant, if you guys know a compass plant, it's very tall, tall grass prairie plant, has a root system of 15 feet. So all of these native plants grow deep down into the soil and access that moisture down low so they can survive periods of drought when we don't have a lot of rainfall. If you want to dive deeper into exploring your plant choices for a water conserving landscape, again, I invite you to visit the Illinois Extension Rainfall Management website as really great resources, as well as tuning into our webinar in January, where we will discuss how to plan a pollinator garden with native plants. So as you work through this planning and envisioning what you want, think about limiting or reducing your turf lawn areas. So we talked about how much turf acreage is in the United States, and this is where we really lose a lot of water, and where we really use and lose a lot of water. Look for areas in your yard that are not being used. It could be around the foundations of your house, could be on steep slopes, in the corners of your yard. Where can you install maybe landscape beds with native plants instead of turf areas? If you do have turf areas, maybe you want to entertain, or maybe you have children that want to play in the backyard, and you have these selected turf areas, try to select low water use turf grass species. Do some research and find those species that don't use as much water as some other species. Next principle is maintaining healthy soil. So maintaining healthy soil allows you to keep that water onto your property. Healthy soil allows that water, when it falls onto your property, to infiltrate down into the soil. So first step, testing your soil. Illinois Extension, again, has a great soils website that gets you started on how to test your soil, how to read the results of your soil test. And then once you know what your soil is like, the components of your soil, figure out whether or not adding organic material will help you. Organic material allows the soil to hold water a lot longer. Next step under maintaining healthy soil is properly treating your thatch and breaking through your thatch. So thatch underneath your sod layer can create this thick, impenetrable layer on your lawn and creates this situation where the water just runs right off of your lawn into the streets, into the storm sewer systems, and does not infiltrate down into your soil. So taking note of that thatch and treating that thatch is another big step to healthy soil. And last, possibly limiting traffic on certain areas of your lawn. That the traffic compacts the soil down so that it has no air pockets, so doesn't have the ability to hold any water any longer. Next, we have efficient irrigation, and this is a really important principle within our water conserving landscape. If you choose to irrigate your lawn, carefully think about what type of system that you want. So the first system could be a sprinkler system. The benefits of a sprinkler system is that you can cover large areas at a time. However, it does require attention, does require maintenance. You can have system leaks, sprinkler heads that are spraying onto surfaces and unintended areas where you're not targeting. It can also water during the heat and the wind. So you're losing water during those periods of time, costing you, tens of thousands of gallons of water per year. If you have that sprinkler system, moisture sensors in the soil can help you determine when to water. A drip system, a second type of system, great for gardens, great for small lawns, keeps that water close to the hose, and there is less waste, a lot more efficiency within a drip irrigation system. A hand irrigation system, that's just when you're going out there and you're plunking down your sprinkler into your yard. Simple, inexpensive. You can move it around and custom water different areas of your yard whenever it's needed. However, there is obviously higher labor, higher management in that hand irrigation system. Another way to become a better waterer is to know your landscape needs. And we talked about the zones in your yard. Know what zones are in your yard and what areas need more water, what areas need less water. Again, watering at appropriate times. We talked about 9 p.m. to 9 a.m. Outside of that evaporation window. And then also thinking about diverting that water from your roof to rain barrels or even rain gardens. So the next principle, mulching and maintenance, M&M. Mulching, don't underestimate mulching. It can drastically reduce your watering needs. It slows evaporation, it cools and retains moisture in your soil, and it also suppresses weeds. So mulching in a water conserving landscape is really important. And then maintenance of your maintenance of your water conserving landscape might be a little bit different than maintenance of your typical turf grass traditional lawn. You'll want to leave your grass a little bit higher. Mowing higher allows that longer grass to shade the soil, keeps the soil moist. A little bit more time might be spent on weed control rather than mowing in those landscape beds. And mulch can help with your weed suppression. And then maintenance can consist of pruning and proper pruning during the dormant season. And that allows for, better airflow and healthier plants. So to wrap up kind of our water conserving landscape principles, I just want you to consider working your way through the steps of creating a water conserving landscape, starting maybe this fall or this winter, just making that simple plan, thinking about what you have in your yard and how that water drop, flows through your yard. Each year, or maybe even each season, just taking those small steps and working toward that goal. You can look for resources from Illinois American Water, Illinois Extension, and also a lot of times your local government will have resources and tools to help support you in your water conserving landscaping work. So we have now discussed both short wins and some long-term changes that you can consider. Let's revisit that question that we had from the beginning of the presentation, and you guys already did a good job the first time around. So let's see, it should pop up there on your screen. See how much of the water used outdoors is wasted. Looks like a lot of you are majority of you are getting this correct. All right. 50%, if you chose 50%. If you recall, 50% of the water that we use outdoors is wasted. And now I'm going to recap just a couple of our takeaways We talked about water use in the summer, peak consumption. Our systems have to be built at that peak consumption. Our outdoor water use is 30% of our total residential water use in the United States. There are lots of different everyday water saving habits that can be adopted easily. And then that switch over to a water conserving landscape is a major key to reducing our water consumption. So what are things that you could do this summer and beyond? So short-term water wins, just another recap, look at that water bill, study it, set your conservation goals, using a broom rather than a hose when you're cleaning your driveways, repairing those outdoor faucet or hose leaks. And I have that on my checklist to do. The 9 p.m. to 9 a.m. rule. I really think that that is a good thing that you could take away tonight to remember when you're watering your lawn or your gardens. And then longer term, we talked about the EPA WaterSense logo on some of your outdoor products or hiring a WaterSense certified professional. And then working toward and switching that mindset on your landscaping to be more of a water conserving landscape. So now that we have given you lots of information, lots of resources, ideas about outdoor water conservation, we would love to know what practices that you might put into place within your own home and your own space. Take a few minutes here to review the pop-up list that we have on the screen and share with us what you might do on your own. Wonderful. Look, almost all of them have been chosen. Tracking water use on my water bill. Looks like a lot of you are going to do that. Great. Checking for outdoor leaks. It looks like a lot of you are doing that. 9 p.m. to 9 a.m. watering. Wonderful. Great. Thank you so much for sharing with us. Thank you so much for being responsible water stewards. That's all that I have for this evening. I thank you so much for joining me tonight and learning more about our water use during the summertime outdoors. I will now turn it over to Eliana to close out our time.
Thanks, Amy. And thank you all for attending. If you have questions for Amy, her email is on the screen and in the chat box. If you'd like to delve further into information about water conservation, see Illinois American Water's page on wise water use. If you'd like to engage youth in this effort, check out our Youth Water Activity Book, which is a companion to this webinar series. Today's webinar has been recorded. You can see it and other webinars in the series on our YouTube playlist. You'll receive an email when this recording posts. We do ask that you take our 1-minute feedback survey to help us improve future programming. Thank you for attending tonight's webinar hosted by Illinois American Water. The next webinar in the Clean Water Conservation series is in October. Look for an email from Illinois American Water to register. We hope to see you then. Thanks again and have a wonderful night.